Hey guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to the video, and today I am showing you guys 4 things that you guys need in order to start as an artist, especially when you're a beginner. These are the 4 essential things that I think is really necessary when you're getting started. So the first thing I think you need is a pencil, of course. I would just honestly stick with a regular mechanical pencil. They're super easy to use, they're versatile, and you don't, like with number 2 pencils, you constantly have to sharpen it and it's not always super sharp. So I like to use mechanical pencils because they're always sharp and they're easy to refill and stuff like that. So I honestly just use a mechanical pencil. I think it works well. They're cheap. You could invest in like the pencils that have a bunch of different shades. Like I have some of them, but I honestly use this more than I use those. So first thing is a mechanical pencil. Now for the next, you need a sketchbook, and I highly recommend the Moleskine sketchbook. These are the ones that I always use. They are a little bit more expensive than some other sketchbooks, but I think the paper quality in here is way better than you will find in a lot of other sketchbooks. The paper that they use is a lot smoother and it allows you to blend more and use a few different types of materials that you wouldn't be able to use on normal paper. So things like markers and colored pencils and stuff like that work a lot better on this kind of paper than let's say your regular printer paper or some other sketchbooks that use a lot thinner and grittier paper. So Moleskines are the best sketchbooks that I've ever used so far, and I highly recommend investing in one of these. Next thing that I think is really necessary for you guys is liners. So when you're first starting off as an artist, a pencil is really useful to kind of be able to erase your mistakes and learn how to shade and stuff like that. But I think liners is also one of those things that is really nice, or pens in general can be used here. So even like a Bic pen, you could use that as your liner if you don't want to invest in a liner. But what this does is it forces you to draw without a sketch line. So it forces you to finish things and like be okay with mistakes, so you can learn from your mistakes and see what it looks like, I guess. So it's gonna make it so you aren't able to erase. And also I do this when I'm doing more bigger projects. If I usually sketch out with a pencil and then I go over with my liner and then erase my pencil, and that's also what you can do. So like if you're gonna do markers or just want to do a liner sketch, these are really good. So the ones that I use the Pilot Fine Liner for my single width lines. So if I only want a steady line that doesn't have varying widths, I will use this because it's very singular pointed. It's very small and it works really well. Depends on what paper you use too. So we'll talk about paper a little bit later. And then if you want something that has a little bit more depth to its width, depending on how hard you push with it, I highly recommend the Tombow calligraphy pens. I know Sharpie makes some kind of calligraphy pens too that are really good, is what I heard, but I think they're a little bit more expensive. So these Tombow calligraphy pens I've been using, and they work really well and are really fun to use because you get to mess around with different pen widths. Lastly, for this 4, I would get an eraser. Not just any eraser, because those block erasers are really hard to get into the grooves and really erase what you want to erase. So this is Sanford Tough Stuff Eraser Stick. Honestly, you can get any brand. This is just what I had in my house. I didn't buy this, I just found it in my house and it works really well. So honestly, just look up eraser stick or eraser pen and you could find one easily. And they're really nice because they come to this really fine point and it's super easy to get in the grooves and erase what you want. So, you know, when you're first starting to learn how to draw especially, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes and you sometimes want to fix them, so I would get an eraser. So guys, these are the 4 things that I highly recommend when you're starting off as an artist, but I have 2 other things that I think if you're starting to get a little bit farther and you want to start exploring with color, I think you should get. So like this isn't necessarily required, but it's just something that later down the line you're probably going to want to get. Next would be markers, and I would say Copic markers are the very market standard. Like they're the highest quality markers that you can get, but they're really expensive. So for I don't know, 4 years or something, when I first started off as an artist, I used these and they honestly worked very well. They just don't have a brush tip and they're non-refillable, so eventually I moved over to Copics as I became more experienced and wanted to take it a little bit more seriously. But these are the Blick Studio markers, and they have a broad side and a fine point side. They blend really well. They have a lot of colors. I know they have a website, and I'm pretty sure you can order them on like Amazon or your website. Yeah, I use these for years and they worked really well. They blend really well. Yeah, so these are a lot cheaper than Copics, and I recommend them if you're just getting started. And now to go along with those markers is paper. Paper is honestly one of the most important things when you're doing art, especially when it has color. So like painting and colored pencils and markers especially, you really need to focus on your paper. So this is the stuff that I use, and it works absolutely amazing for my markers, especially the Copic markers and just any of the markers that are alcohol based. This is what you need to get. So if you want to use markers, sometimes they bleed on normal paper that's a little bit thinner and less weight. So you want to invest in, this actually isn't that expensive, but you want to get the heavier weight paper. So this is Blick Smooth Bristle Studio Paper. It is the size 9x12. Size doesn't really matter, but it is weight 100 pounds, 270 GSM. It's not actually 100 pounds, it's just what the paper is classified as. So this is the 270 GSM. I would just look up Blick Smooth Bristle Paper and look for the one with the car on here, and this is that paper. Okay guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial, I guess. I knew that a lot of you guys are beginner artists, and I wanted to help you out a little bit trying to get started. So these are the materials that I think you should get when you're starting off. If you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment down below, let me know what you guys want to see next on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome art videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!